Hello, everyone, and welcome to Journeys by Amanda's Travel Tuesday. You all know me. I'm Amanda Drum, and I am the owner of Journeys by Amanda. I am really delighted tonight to introduce you to Keli Washburn. She has taught me so much about river cruising, and she is my go-to person. And so I wanted to connect you with her this evening so that she could tell you what's on offer for river cruising in Europe. And we'll talk also about two very, very special specific cruises that I have some great deals on this year. But mainly, we want to make sure you know all about river cruising and what to expect on a river cruise. So I'm going to hand it over because our expert is Keli, and she is with Avalon Waterways at the Globus family of brands. And I'm just going to say, take it away, Keli.
Thank you so much, Amanda, for having me. Thanks, everyone, for joining us on this Tuesday night. I am going to share my screen and we'll jump right in with talking a little bit about Avalon Waterways. And Avalon Waterways is truly cruising elevated. So we are part of the Globus family of brands, as Amanda mentioned. We are a family-owned company. We're nearly a century old, or as I like to say, nearly a century young. And we started on a spring day in 1928 when Antonio Matagazza decided that taking logs across Lake Lugano wasn't really meeting his passions. And he decided to start taking tourists and sharing with them the love of Switzerland and Italy. And then uh, we launched our touring companies. And in 2004, we launched Avalon Waterways. What Avalon does is it goes against the current and away from the ordinary with our ships and how we've designed them. So, one of the itineraries we're going to be talking about tonight is the Danube Dreams westbound. And with this trip, it's March 31st to April 7th of 2027. And this one is going westbound. So, we'll start in Budapest and end in Bilshofen. It is one that I just did going eastbound. So if I get confused and say eastbound, you'll know that I was just on this one in April going the opposite direction. So you read our maps by the green being the starting place and the red being the ending place. Here, you would fly into Budapest, and then to go home, you would fly out of Munich. Munich, we can do a transfer from Wilshofen, or you can take the train from Wilshofen down into Munich, and perhaps stay a couple of days. You can also extend this cruise with 2 nights in Prague if you would like to stay longer. Amanda can help you do that as well. So Avalon is on 13 different rivers, all the navigable rivers. We're in 24 countries. That includes not only Europe, but we're also on the Mekong in Vietnam and Cambodia, as well as in the Galapagos and the Amazon River and the Nile River. So I'm going to play a quick video. Okay, so Zoom has just changed how they do things. So I am going to, um, that video didn't have any words in it. So it's just the pictures and the pretty little words that are on it. Avalon has been winning accolades from cruise critic for years after years, and this year we were so excited to win Best for Active Cruisers, and that's one that we're very proud of. A lot of our activities are geared toward active, so you're going to talk a little bit about biking and hiking, as well as you can do your classic tours. We are award winning for our staterooms with the beds that face the view, as well as our best for European River line by Cruise Critic for Editor's Choice and Cruiser's Choice.
Ships of Avalon, designed from the ground up, with an attention to detail river cruising has never seen before. There's nothing quite like river cruising, no matter who you cruise with. But there are some pretty big differences between companies, starting with how they look at staterooms. And our one-of-a-kind panorama suite is proof of our innovation, our imagination, and our desire to create a smarter use of space. To give you some perspective of how much better our staterooms are, we're comparing them to the average river cruise cabin. Here's the average window, roughly 7 feet wide, with an opening under 4 feet. Here's our window, nearly 11 feet wide, floor to ceiling, wall to wall. And when it opens, it really opens. Wide enough to let the outside in, because the opening is a full 7 feet, almost twice the size of the others. It's the largest standard window in river cruising. Now let's take a look at the bed of the average cabin. It faces the wall. Not much to look at there. We had a much better idea. What if we angle the wall and turn the bed? That little change gives you the perfect perspective of the amazing views out your window. We then turned our attention to the balcony. Here's the average river cruise balcony. Seems like a nice idea, but as far as we can tell, there's not a lot of room for people to enjoy the views out there. And they had to take space from your stateroom to create that small deck space outside. So here's our better idea. Reclaim that space. Push the window out. Add a spacious dining and seating area for up to 6 adults. Combine it with the largest sliding glass door in the business, and voila! You have an open-air balcony, the only one of its kind in river cruising. And you can enjoy it day and night, no matter the weather. Plus, you'll enjoy a lot more livable space, a full 200 square feet. We gave our room an attention to detail unmatched in the industry. We offer comfort collection beds, plenty of easily accessible storage. And we even added sound dampening insulation in our walls to make it less likely you'll hear your neighbors or they'll hear you. And we didn't stop with the room. We turned that same attention to detail to the bathroom. We took a look at the bathroom of the average ship, and we knew we could do better. By angling the wall, we opened up more space in the bathroom. Then we took our newfound space and we made it luxurious. We have a large tile shower with glass doors, marble countertops, premium fixtures, L'Occitane bath amenities, and shelves to store all your necessities. And the best part is that there aren't just a couple of these staterooms on our ships, reserved for those who want to pay more. 80% of the staterooms on our suite ships are panorama suites. And once you leave your suite, you're likely to find fewer people on our suite ships. Because with our bigger staterooms, there is less capacity for passengers, which means more space everywhere you go. As you can see, more has gone into the amazing panorama suites, so you can get so much more out of them. Does your river cruise do this? We invite you to compare, and you'll see there's no comparison.
So that little difference by angling the bed and then angling the wall behind the bed does give us more space in the bathroom. And because river cruises do need to be basically the same width to go through all those navigational locks, by incorporating our balcony back into the stateroom, it does give you 100% livable space 100% of the time. Um, One of the things that I really appreciate about Avalon and the way we've designed our rooms is you're going at the end of March, going into April. So, it could be a little chilly outside. I can still open my window a full 7 foot wide to allow the fresh air in, but not be out in the elements. And I can even open it just a little bit if I just want a little fresh air. And if you're too hot, our air conditioning is amazing in Avalon. It truly chills your room as cold as you want it. So you'll see the differences in our ships are basically just the interior coloring. Every one of our ships is the same suite design. And like she said, 80% of those suites on board Avalon are these panoramas. Now, she did say you could have up to 6 people in your stateroom. I don't think I would ever have 6 people. It just gives you a good idea of the spacing inside. You can imagine this is the Danube, waking up in bed and enjoying your view, of course, with your complimentary breakfast in bed if you would like it. And we do complimentary room service for breakfast, lunch, and dinner as well. Now, our bathrooms are spacious with all the amenities. We talked about L'Occitane bath products, the marble countertops with plenty of space down underneath to store your necessities, as well as his and her or yours and mine bath towels in 2 different colors. And this does make getting ready in the morning a much nicer experience. You'll also find hair dryers already included, so you don't have to worry about bringing your hair dryer and whether it will convert or adapt correctly. While our cabins are one of my favorite features on Avalon, our offshore excursions are another highlight that we take such exceptional pride in. And our selection of included excursions are second to none, with over 22 included excursions on a 7-night cruise. We do label these classic, active, and discovery. Classic being like your historic walking tour, active being things like hiking, biking, and kayaking, and discovery being things like making truffles, wine tasting. Those are the type of activities that you're going to find. And we'll talk a little bit more in detail on those. Avalon Flex Dining, it is relaxed luxury. We say come as you are. There's no reservations needed, no set tables, no formal nights on Avalon. When you're dining with us in our main dining room, you'll have a 3 or 4 course meal. If you just want some light bites, you can go right up to the Panorama Lounge, and that becomes a little bistro for lunch and dinner. Sky Grill when it's pretty outside, and then we've got our room service complimentary as well. So included in every one of our journeys, we'll have our welcome reception on embarkation with the captain. Those shore excursions we're going to go over in just a few minutes, as well as the onboard cultural and entertainment live from the destinations that we're traveling. In the evenings, we have something called Avalon After Dark. So if you're staying in port and late into the evening, there'll be some recommended things for you to go out and do and experience that town after the sun goes down. Your adventure host is there to get your heart rate up, and they're the ones that'll be doing all those active excursions with you. We have 2 complimentary Starlink Wi-Fi on board, 2 satellites on every ship. Avalon only does not serve any North American wine, so you'll find wine from the region that you're sailing in and throughout the European countries. And that is complimentary for lunch and dinner, and you can start with mimosas in the morning. Coca-Cola products are complimentary throughout your entire day. Round-the-clock coffee, tea, and snacks. One of my favorite places is on deck 3 at the back lounge. We call it a club lounge. And that's where you're going to have your 24/7 coffee, tea, hot chocolate, triple chocolate cookies, little rice crackers, donuts. The snacks change throughout the day, as well as it's just a nice place to sit and maybe read a book, get a little bit of work done if you need to. We also have a filtered water station and flavored water station back there as well. Complimentary happy hour. This is where your beer, wine, sparkling wine, and cocktails will be included. There is an entire bar menu that lists the complimentary happy hour inclusions. This is the hour before dinner, and then the 15 minutes before dinner is your port talk, and then you'll go into the dining room for your 3 or 4 course meal. And afternoon tea service is immediately before happy hour. If you want to have some tea and crumpets or little sandwiches or snack cakes. As I mentioned earlier, complimentary room service for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. One of the things that you'll never hear anybody say is that they go hungry on a river cruise. Every time you turn around, it's time to eat again. We are offering now a future cruise program. So if you book your cruise within 30 days of returning home, you'll get an additional $100 off per person. and this is above and beyond any other promotions that are on. So let's dive into this itinerary. Danube Dreams westbound. Day one, welcome to Budapest. I always recommend that you come in a day early. Um, your flights will come in early in the morning. You do need to be there in Budapest by 3:30 p.m. You can go, unlike with ocean cruising, you can go directly to the ship as soon as your flight lands. You can leave your luggage there if you're coming in the day of, or if you're checking out of a hotel, you can come straight to the ship and leave your luggage with our staff. You do need to be back on board by 5 p.m. Otherwise, the day is yours to relax and enjoy the city. Budapest is a city of multiple um, different little districts and cafes and confections, and you've got the market there. With Budapest, I do recommend coming in a day early to spend more time in this beautiful city. It also has all of its World War II history and its thermal baths as well. Day two, you can either go on an active excursion, which is hiking up to the magnificent viewpoint in Budapest with your adventure host, or your classic excursion is going to be taking a guided sightseeing tour that'll include the iconic Heroes Square that's shown here in this photo. We do have in Budapest some optional excursions in the afternoon, meaning they're not included in your package, or you can have some free time in the afternoon. We are docked very close to iconic shopping as well as the famous Budapest market, and that's where you can get your paprika from. If you want to do an optional excursion in the afternoon, we do have bites and highlights of Budapest. It is it'll take you around the famous sites and you'll be able to try some foods. It's a perfect foodie tour. Or if you're more into the art and architecture, we'll take you to the golden age of Budapest's Belle Opaque on this captivating excursion where you'll visit the crown jewels of Budapest and the Hungarian State Opera House. You can also take that afternoon, like I said, as free time and go wander around. You'll be a little bit parked or docked a little bit from the Parliament building, so you can walk easily down to that. Traveling within Budapest is super convenient. You can grab an Uber as well. Our cruise director is very knowledgeable of the area that we'll be traveling in, and so they can give you some recommendations of things to do in Budapest with your free time. You will be doing a overnight cruise into Bratislava, Slovakia. And so you'll be in Budapest probably until after dinner, and then you'll go on and sail up to Bratislava. Here in Bratislava, it is such a quaint little town. I absolutely love walking around all the little shops here. There are statues throughout the town that have the stories behind them. You'll find Napoleon, and you'll find some quaint little other statues that they will point out on your trip. Now, our excursions are limited to no more than 25 people, so if there's more than that, we just get another local guide. Your active excursion will be a hike to the Bratislava Castle that you can see pictured here, or your classic excursion will be a guided city walk, including the quaint streets of Old Town, Town Hall, and the site of royal coronations at St. Martin's Cathedral. There's also a really quirky brass statue that they'll point out along your walk, as well as some really good places if you want to grab some coffee or a bite to eat or go and do a little bit of shopping. Your free time is in the afternoon. So typically we're done with our excursions by lunch. So you can choose to go back to the ship for lunch, or you can choose to stay in the city. And we're docked right there in the heart of Bratislava. It is the capital of Slovakia. It's a green city, so its forest and its parks are just a hop away from the city center. And you'll have some live entertainment on board your ship this evening. While you're cruising, it is very likely that the Easter markets or the spring markets will be going on in these various cities. So think of this square here filled with little vendors that are uh, local vendors selling their local crafts. And then you'll have an overnight cruise to Vienna. Now, Vienna is one of my favorite cities. You could absolutely spend a week exploring Vienna and not do it all. So this is just a taste of Vienna for you. Your active excursion is going to be to explore Vienna's Danube Island by bike. Your classic, we just added this tour for next season. It's a guided visit to the House of Strauss and embarking upon an interactive journey through Vienna's illustrious past at an immersive audiovisual experience. And after the tour, you'll have coffee and homemade cake. Or your other classic option here is to explore the Habsburgs Empire with a morning guided city tour of Vienna's gilded landmarks. You'll see the Imperial Palace complex, which was the winter residence of the imperial family, the iconic Vienna Opera House, and the stunning St. Stephen's Cathedral. Now, most of this is a panorama tour, meaning that you're on motor coach because Vienna is a little spread out. And then they will drop you and you'll do some walking tour out toward St. Stephen's Cathedral. Now, Vienna is super easy to navigate. The ships can't dock right in the city center because there's not a waterway there. But there is the S-Bahn train that can get you to and from the city center pretty quickly, as well as you will have the motor coach can take you back after your excursion in the morning. If you choose to stay in the city and explore a little bit during lunchtime, they're also going to tell you where you can catch that motor coach again in the afternoon to go back to the ship if you don't want to navigate on your own. You can do a guided optional excursion in the afternoon to Schönbrunn Palace. This is the imperial summer home of the Habsburgs monarchy. I love going here because I see something different every single time. This past April was my second time, and the gardens were in bloom. It is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. So several of the rooms that you'll be going through are decorated with the furniture and like wall coverings and drapery that was there during the Habsburg Empire. And then this evening, you could do a classical concert. That's an optional excursion to hear the classical works of Mozart and Johann Strauss. And it's performed by the Salon Orchestra Alt Wien musicians in one of Europe's prettiest venues. I've done this. I think it's a great concert, but if you are not into music, it's definitely one that you can absolutely miss if you want to do maybe go stroll the pedestrian streets and do a little more shopping. We also have bikes on board, so you could grab a bike from the ship. Highly recommend going to a local cafe to enjoy the Sackertort or the Apfelstrudel while you're here in Vienna. It's also the home of the Lipizzaner horses. So if you've got interest in going to see some horses, Amanda can look up and see if there's excursions happening during that time that you can go see the Lipizzaners. On day 5, you'll be going to Dürnstein and the Wachau Valley, and then on to Ybbs. So in Dürnstein, you'll have an active excursion. You could go on a guided hike up to the castle ruins to take in the view of the valley or the village, the Danube, and the Wachau Valley below. Or what I prefer to do is the classic. I can go on a guided walk and hear the legendary tale of King Richard the Lionheart, who was imprisoned during the Crusades. Later, we're going to have some time out on the sky deck as you sail through the Wachau Valley, past vineyards, castles, and charming villages on your way to Ybbs. Here, your tour or your cruise director will be doing a narration during parts of the Wachau Valley. So you'll want to be out on the sky deck or down in the panorama lounge if it's a little bit too chilly to be up on the sky deck. That is not piped into your staterooms, so make sure that you're in one of the common areas for that. Or instead of doing the cruise, you could do a bike ride along the river to Eames with your adventure host. When you get to Eames, you have a classic excursion that you can go walk through the doors of Austrian history with a tour of the Artstenton Castle, which is what I did. It was a really unique um, castle to visit. One of the family members was actually there to talk to us about the history. Or you can take a guided tour of Melk's magnificent Benedictine Abbey to see its frescoed ceilings, statues, its library, and ornate pipe organ. Every time I'm on the Danube River, I say that I'm going to do this excursion, and then somebody talks me into doing something else. So it is one that is still on my bucket list and still means I need to go back to the Danube. And you'll also have some live entertainment on board this evening. What's fantastic about live entertainment on a river cruise is it is from the area that you're traveling in. Day 6, you're going to be in Linz. You can do a guided walk through the city's historic and beautiful sites along the Danube and see Austria's largest medieval square and the towering white marble column, Trinity column. Your active excursion, you can bike Danube cycle path and follow your adventure host for around the area of Linz. Now, if you don't want to stay in the town of Linz and you have just joined this because you want to go to Salzburg, today is the day to do that full guided optional excursion to Salzburg. It is the city of Mozart. It is also the city of the sound of music, and it does provide you an in-depth look at both Salzburg and all its majestic surroundings. It does include a stop at Wannsee, which is the church that they got married in the Sound of Music. It does also include some history on film locations and whatnot there. Or you can go to Český Krumlov, which is a Sleeping Beauty awakes. You'll feel like you've stepped right in the Middle Ages of this full-day excursion. It's called the Pearl of the Bohemian Forest. Again, this is one of those that I say I'm going to do Český Krumlov every time, and I get talked into something else. So another reason for me to go back on the Danube. Now, this last cruise, we did our morning excursion. We did that guided walk through Linz, and then in the afternoon, we did an optional excursion to the Mauthausen Memorial. This was one of the concentration camps. It was one of World War II's largest and most brutal Nazi work camp complexes. It was also one of the last to be liberated. And so walking there was honestly, I was speechless. Seeing all the memorials in Mauthausen. It was raining that day, so it kind of set the mood. So if that's something you want to do, that is an optional excursion. I'm not going to talk more about it and get really emotional, but it is something that I would recommend. You are overnight docking in Linz, so you do have some time to spend there. Then on day 7, we're going to be on the Schlangenbahn-Achsbau area. Say that 10 times fast. I can never get it out more than once. This is a horseshoe bend of the river on our way to Passau. And when you're in Passau, you'll have an option to hike the Oberhaus along the trail down the valley and along the Ilz River, or you can take the guided city walk into Passau. And it is a beautiful city of the three rivers. Because it is a city of the three rivers, it has a disastrous past of flooding. So there's flood markers that they'll point out, but the rivers are what makes this such a lush area. Each of the rivers has its own coloring, and it's really unique to be able to see all three rivers converging into the Danube. So before sailing to Vilshofen, you'll have some free time to explore Passau and the galleries of the Artist Alley. Maybe go to St. Stephen's Cathedral to catch a concert rehearsal. Yes, every city has a St. Stephen's, it feels like. And then you'll be doing a short sailing to Vilshofen. You'll be overnight docking in Vilshofen, And this is where your cruise will end with breakfast this morning. We do ask that your flights not leave Munich Airport before 8 a.m. It is about an hour and a half to Munich Airport. So please keep that in mind when you're booking your flights. When I got off in Wilshafen a couple of years ago, my transfer time was at the dark 30 of 4 a.m. So definitely keep that in mind when you're booking your return trips. So tonight, if you haven't booked, and even if you have already booked, we do have an exclusive promo of $50 off per person. That's happening for the next 2 weeks. Our deposit is $250 per person, with final payment being due 90 days prior to the trip. Amanda will give pricing based on your specific cabin and your specific needs, whether that's a single or a double. And she's happy to do that. And whether or not you need trip protection, airfare, she can quote that within the package as well. Well, thank you, Amanda, for having me on. And thank you, everyone, for joining us on this Tuesday night. I look forward to hearing all about your trips when you get back.
Thank you very much, Kelly, and thank you to everyone. I really appreciate it. Give me a ring, shoot me an email. You all have my personal cell phone number. So, let me know if you have other questions, whether it's about the sailings I'm doing that I have coming up, a different sailing, or a Globus land tour for England or some other place. So, anyway, just let me know. And thank you, Kelly. I do appreciate it. So.
Absolutely. Y'all have an amazing evening. Talk to you soon.